What is the Great Resignation about? I left the CEO role after only 15 months. Truth is, I've been pretty unhappy. The company didn't align with my values. They lacked purpose, and I fundamentally disagreed with how they did business. I was a bad match for them, and they were a bad match for me. I came to the realization that I think the corporate world is fundamentally broken. The traditional corporate approach, in my view, is bad for business, it's bad for profits, and it's bad for growth. It's full of short-term, selfish decision-making. That motivated me to set up my consultancy, Purpose-Led Performance. You see, most people think there's a conflict between purpose and business profit and performance, but the opposite is actually true. The more purpose-driven a business is, the better it is for its growth, its performance, and its profits. So what is so fundamentally broken in the corporate world? The first thing is there's a zero-sum approach to business, a winner-takes-all mentality. Big corporate businesses succeeding at the expense of everybody, succeeding at the expense of their customers, succeeding at the expense of their employees. There's a great book by Alex Edmonds called Grow the Pie. He really examines the case for purpose-driven businesses and why they perform better. And he beautifully explains this traditional corporate approach, and he calls it the pie splitting mentality. Your traditional corporate business figures there's just the pie that's fixed in its size, and the only way they win is by taking a bigger slice for themselves. But there's an alternative approach, which is growing the pie. And this is what Alex Edmonds talks about. Actually, how do you succeed with others? How do you succeed with your employees? How do you succeed for your community? How do you succeed for the environment? If you think you can grow the pie, then actually it can be a win-win situation. And that's what the corporate world gets wrong. The corporate world is full of short-term thinking, which is driven by quarterly targets and reporting to investors. But the reality is business is a marathon, it isn't a sprint. But you get all of these self-professed business experts who build their reputations and make lots of money by recommending things that drive short-term profits, but in reality, which ruin businesses for the long term. The other thing that I hated about working in the corporate environment is it normalizes behavior which would just be plain wrong outside of the business world. I remember I joined a big corporate. I was running a joint venture business for them. And the very first time I met a group of my colleagues, I went along to a Christmas lunch, and a senior finance director there was telling a story about how, with a major client, she'd looked directly into their eyes and told them an outright lie, all to squeeze an extra couple of £1 million out of them. And then everybody around the table laughed. And I sat there and I thought, is this normal? Is this really acceptable? Outside of the world of work, would we sit around the table laughing about how we told a barefaced lie to somebody to squeeze more money out of them? There's a massive epidemic of disengagement and unhappiness in the workplace. Gallup produced a survey which tracks satisfaction in the workplace, and the figures are absolutely shocking. But there is an alternative, one which is not only better for employee engagement, but one which actually drives better performance, better growth, and better profits. And I was really fortunate early in my career to spend 10 years working for a purpose-driven organisation, and the contrast was huge. Over those 10 years, we achieved incredible growth. We became #1 in our market. Our people were so engaged by the work that they did. Purpose created clarity, it created alignment, and it engaged our people and it engaged our customers. If you're clear why your organisation exists, if your workforce is aligned, and your employees and your customers are engaged, well, you're going to perform better. The business case is clear, but the traditional ways of working are really deep-rooted. And that's why I set up Purpose-Led Performance. In the last 3 years, I've worked with 50 organisations and their senior leaders to actually drive their profits and their growth, but to do it in a way that's better for their employees, that's better for the communities that they work in. Our purpose is to support companies to improve their profits, to engage their companies and to make a positive impact, and to do it in a way that isn't screwing everybody else over. Our purpose is to help companies to grow sustainably, to unleash the potential of employees, to make the world of business better for everyone. So why should businesses become purpose-driven? Well, it's a no-brainer really. Your employees want it, your customers want it. It will make your workplace more human. And the best thing, it will drive your performance, your profits, and your growth.